connecting to my spirit guides, Arcturian aliens, to talk about some conspiracies. So I did this like a little bit ago, but I wasn't recording for like 30 minutes. And then I was like, that's kind of crazy. I thought I heard the recording button. Should I not be recording this? But I think that it's fine. All right, so we were talking about 9/11. You're showing me the same stuff. 9/11 was a little bit of, yes, a conspiracy. It wasn't so much a terrorist attack in the way of this was, unplanned. They're showing me that this kind of happened in the length of at least 4 hours of, for the Twin Towers, like this floor, then this floor, then this floor, then this floor. And this was to kind of create a diversion in the way of pay attention to this. There's nothing that really needed to be destroyed in the Twin Towers. It was more the Pentagon, where there was bunkers and stuff like this. This is what the main kind of focus was as far as terrorists and people wanting to destroy these different kind of files. What these different kind of files were was a little bit of secret stuff, but it's more of the entire world's kind of secret stuff when it came to more military and military intelligence and stuff getting their hands on, and people getting their hands onto stuff. But it wasn't so that they didn't have like the knowledge and stuff, because they can still create the knowledge. It was so like the whole kind of world secrets weren't getting out. And there's a lot of connection to like China and stuff like that. I think it's interesting whatever China was doing in 2001 and like leading up to that, because there was a lot of like, they had a lot of pull and a lot of play in that. What I mean by this, and we talked about this earlier, was similar to when there were atomic kind of explosions and different stuff like this, was connected to there being like diversions and things and all of that, like obviously. Let's see. Where were we going with that? All right. So, I mean, I asked a general question to give me a general answer. And I love them so much, but it's the same stuff, like repeating, showing me like everything. Not trans-channeling, so they can only use my dictionary and what kind of small brain that I have. But they're showing me that there was like, I don't know if this is true. I mean, I'm assuming it's true because you're showing me, when they say the Pentagon, they keep saying like the bunker, the bunker, the bunker. It feels that wherever what was hit in the Pentagon, I don't know if it was all destroyed. I don't think it was. I mean, I thought the Pentagon was more like a building. Sorry, I don't know a whole bunch. It was in the 5th grade. But they're showing me like secret stuff and underground stuff and things like this, like that needed to just like get destroyed, but like only in this pocket. And they were successful in that. Which is, I mean, interesting. You think of like crashing a plane into this. Why couldn't they have just blown it up or something like that? Oh, I mean, because it wouldn't have looked like a terrorist attack. Oh, so the terrorist attack was, here's the Twin Towers and this is a terrorist attack. And then it was like, and here's the Pentagon and this is a terrorist attack. This terrorist attack happened so that they can do something to the Pentagon, because I guess it was so protected in the way of, you can't do anything to this, like from the outside or even the inside, but it wasn't good people that needed to do this and destroy whatever was in the Pentagon, whatever was in this little thing. I'm trying to see what was in it, and they're showing me like filing cabinets and stuff like this, like documents and computers and different stuff like this. But it was like underground and secret and top secret and kind of bad for like the world to know about this, bad for like other countries to know about other countries. Okay, so that's 9/11. I wish I had more questions, but I don't, so thank you. Let's talk about the moon landing again. The moon landing did not happen, but yes, we have been on the moon, and yes, other people have been on the moon. What we were talking about was we needed to get to the moon before Russians and stuff like this, like specifically Russians. Because if the Russians were to get to the moon first, they would say, expose a lot of stuff that's on the moon. And what's on the moon is alien stuff and satellites and stuff like this. It's interesting. I mean, it looks like the Jetsons is like what it looks like to me. on the other side of the moon, it's like towers and flying things and noise and stuff like buzzing around and like lights and things. There's a red light that keeps like going like this. And so we knew about this because the Americans had a treaty with kind of the aliens and stuff like this for whatever reason, which we're going to talk about again because I was like, what? Why? So we knew about everything that was on the moon. We didn't want other people, and Americans and like the aliens and stuff, extraterrestrials, didn't want other people like on the moon to expose this just because it wasn't good timing and stuff for all of this to come out. We got into a little bit of why is it so wrong for things to come out. It just wasn't the good like amount of time, and it wasn't us controlling, and it wasn't, you know, aliens and stuff controlling. It was like for the betterment of everybody. And the other thing, so yes, the moon landing was kind of fake and broadcast in the way of here's what we found and we found nothing, but it made everybody like settle down. And then since I guess for whatever reason, I mean, it was almost as if it was a race and like we claim this and so I was saying, why couldn't like Americans land on the moon and then the Russians land on the moon? It was like, no, you can't, like that can't happen for whatever reason, like legally, like law stuff, like territory, like location, stuff like that. They just had their own kind of settlement, I guess, which is like history book stuff that I just don't know about. Maybe you guys know about. And then the other thing was, so when people are trying to go to the moon now and today, it's almost as if it's not allowed to happen, that things go wrong and this is why. It's like smaller explosions and they don't have the technology and this kind of blows up and this kind of malfunctions and this goes wrong. And the other thing that they were saying was the moon has so much like, this is an airplane, this is an airplane, this is an airplane, and like monitoring all of that. Monitoring all of it because it's like the betterment of for other people and the like space galactic stuff that we just don't figure out and like expose all of this right now. I'm kind of saying, guys, I'm exposing it. Oh, it's gonna happen to me. But no, it's fine. What is gonna happen to me? Nothing. I'm not the only one. Okay. It's not so much of a big deal where it's like global. Thanks, I'm not global. And then the other thing was, so when we were talking about explosions, atomic explosions and stuff like this, there's always but on the other side of the world, this is going on, like almost, like not like the exact same time, but it's like that within the same year that stuff kind of happened. And it feels like they're saying like a lot of the like space travel and stuff, there's like an explosion or something. I was asking them about like Chernobyl, like was there something going on here? And it felt like what they were saying about this is like, yes, that we were like building and getting ready and this like stopped the plans for stuff. And when I say like building and getting ready, it feels like, I don't know. I mean, I should know. It's almost, oh, duh. I mean, maybe. It's like polluting the air and polluting stuff. So like this isn't possible anymore. So it's similar to when, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example. It's almost like you need the atmosphere to be like these kind of different levels and everything like that so that it's safe. But if there's an explosion or like leftover stuff, then it's not safe. And then things are like halted for another 6 months or whatever. All right, that's interesting. All right, and then I want to talk about COVID, which sucks that this all got deleted. But let's backtrack. So COVID, yes, was man-made, and God, I wish I could just remember, but let's do this all over again. God, it was so long. Talked about it for so long. COVID was man-made, yes. And the vaccinations are not going to be to wipe everybody out. If they wanted to wipe everybody out, they could do that, but they would make this look more in the form of a natural disaster for whatever reason. And then the other thing was, so about the vaccines and stuff, it's almost as if this isn't going to wipe people out because people above scientists and stuff don't want this to happen. They were making an example to when there's flu shots or when there's a measles shot. This isn't for the betterment or the involvement or like the upgrade of humans. So they want us to stop like doing this. God, they worded it so much better. So people above who are helping Earth and humanity grow and evolve and change and like do better and get more technology, they don't want us to keep going back to like, let's bring this disease back so that we can have an anti thing for it. They want us to like change and like shift that kind of thinking so that we can grow a little bit more, because we are immune to measles and stuff that's back then now, because we kind of built ourselves up a little bit more. When we do bring like measles and the other thing that they just said that I forgot, smallpox and stuff, when we bring this back, it's like keeping us at a lower kind of vibration. And this isn't like thought of hey, let's keep everybody small and stuff and let's just give them these kind of shots. It's not like they're doing that thinking. They're not like doing that on purpose. I mean, as far as like the scientists and stuff go. So I mean, I think like obviously that's a great way to keep people like smaller and stuff like that, especially for vaccines. I thought that that's why. But it feels like they didn't really make that connection. Like that's not what they're concerned about. That's not, that's just kind of like a plus or whatever. So when it comes to getting the vaccines and stuff for COVID, they were saying to know that our bodies can fight it off, know that we are stronger and powerful and with our minds and our mindset and all of that than like anything. So don't think like, this is it, this is going to be it for me. There are going to be a lot of people who will contract COVID when they get their shots, but it's not going to like be the end all be all for them. Some people it might be, but it just feels like this isn't, so that we can be wiped out. And, the other thing, which was very interesting, was if you've heard the conspiracy that the vaccine for COVID is going to be microchipped with everything because they just want to microchip us. They don't have the technology for this, and they're not going to for another couple of years. They are going to come out with, here's vaccines for everybody so that we can be happy and stuff. And it's not going to be good things. And then in a few years, they're going to say, here's better upgraded vaccine for that COVID thing. And it is going to be a little bit like microchipped, yes, but we're going to know about it. So they were showing me, it's going to be a shot that's like, and like this, like goes into your body like that, like a stamp, instead of just like a vaccine or something. And this is going to be not great, but some people are going to elect for it because it's going to be almost having your body being like a smartphone or something like this. And they were saying that, it's going to like be able to control more things like electronically, kind of like tracking, yes, but it's going to be tracking like so that people know that you're safe and stuff like that. I mean, it sounds horrible. And when they were saying that to me, like it's going to be tracking, I was like, who the heck would be stupid enough to get that? But they're going to make it make sense to where like you need this tracking. So when you're coming up to your car, the door is going to be unlocked, and you need this tracking so that when you're like they're going to play it off like this to where people will be like, oh, that makes sense. And then the other thing was, it's just going to like be pushing this a little bit more and more and more. Hopefully I'm clear on that. What I wanted to like clarify about that was they're coming up with like a science-y vaccine that's a little bit of like anti-COVID and this and this and this and this. There's not like a huge agenda behind this vaccine. It's not until the next couple of years where they're like, they trusted that and they all didn't die. So we're going to come out with this, and we're not all going to die, or, but it's going to be like less control for us. All right. And then the other thing that was interesting that we talked about was reptilians kind of living among us. So what they were saying about this is, yes, there are people living among us kind of everywhere. And even on other planets, there's other people like cameos and stuff like this living everywhere. They swear to God, we're saying that the reptilians are more, I love this. And I was like, YouTube is going to love this or hate this. Reptilians are more like in gangs and stuff. So where there's like big gangs, there's reptilians and stuff like this hiding undercover. But the other kind of aliens and stuff that are undercover, like it's not that they're like bad people, but they're not good people, but they're reptilians. And we talked about this for so long, so I was like, I don't get it. It's almost as if you reptilians must be here on Earth, then go over here where the gangs are and stay over there and do whatever you gotta do. It's like exactly like that. When it comes to other kind of aliens and species living among us, it's more so that they can help us grow and evolve, some of them. So they were saying similar to where someone's a super genius but not a super genius, because then it would cause too much attention. When there's someone like this that's saying, hey, I'm a scientist now, and I had a theory that you guys should plug this number into this number and this number and then put it in the computer. Let's just see what happens. This is because they are kind of alien in the way of they're smarter and they're just trying to like push us and help us. And they were saying that this has been throughout time. And I was saying that the ancient aliens were spot on about this, about like, maybe we had help from aliens. Like, it's like, yes, duh, we did. We went from caveman to this because we had help. We went from pyramids to building pyramids like this because we had help. So, I mean, that's interesting as hell. And that's the way it's always been. And that's the way it's always like going to be, because we would just keep doing what we're doing and doing what we're doing and putting like measles and stuff into shots and like going backwards and putting like stuff into this and going backwards. Because of the aliens and stuff, we're like moving forward and moving forward and moving forward. But it's also to like, because this is a part of a process in the way of the new earth, in the way of Gaia, in the way of growing and evolving, because this is like what we got to do, keep going and keep going. So that's why they're helping. And good is always going to kind of like outweigh the bad. As far as bad aliens and stuff like this, I mean, it's kind of really small numbers in the way of it's not a super huge issue. I just thought about another topic I want to talk about that's heavy, but I'm interested in that, trafficking and stuff. So that's what I got about that.